Hello and welcome to Steve and Dave's 50 Years Ago this month. This time around, we're talking about December 1975, December 13th chart of the Billboard Hot 100. And this time around, we're not going to do a lot of cherry picking because the top 10 is almost entirely new, which we don't see a lot. But
True. No, that's really true, actually. Yeah.
we've got some good stuff here. What's starting us off this week?
Yeah. So at number one, it's the disco smash from Silver Convention. And we'll learn more about Silver Convention here in a second. It's Fly, Robin, Fly.
Yeah, and I think this top 10 really kind of shows us that disco is here, right? I
Oh,
think
I definitely think so. Yes,
maybe
I agree
maybe
with you.
more than any other single one we've
I,
had so far.
I, yep.
Starting off with this one, Fly Robin Fly, Silver Convention, from their debut studio album Save Me. Um, this was actually the third single from that album. But
The third single.
yes,
Hmm.
Silver Convention, three young women from Germany. And this is going to be only the second time that a German group has hit the number one spot in the Billboard Hot 100.
Oh, okay. You're putting it on the T.
So there you go.
What was the first one?
I wish I knew.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we'll
I'm
put
really
that in the
sorry.
show notes.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
maybe
Oh, no, I
one
don't
of our
know.
listeners knows.
Yeah. So, okay, so this explains the paucity of lyrics. There's just not it's like what, how many words? Like seven
Six.
words or something?
There are
Six,
six
sorry.
words, and that's also the first time that that's a new record for
Well, see, there you go.
100, Hot 100. Yeah, Fly Robin up to
Uh,
the
uh,
sky. And then those
and,
are repeated just as necessary.
and to their credit, it is repeated. So that they right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
originally, the song was supposed to be called Run Rabbit Run. Now
Hmm.
that is true, that's a fact. But I have a speculation about why that was changed. And
Oh, do you? Yes, you have
yeah.
a
Well, my idea is I think probably what happened is that they sat down and come up with some nice sophisticated lyrics for this. And they start on a run, rabbit, run, um, follow the sun, it comes up behind
sure.
you again. Um, and then they came up with these really neat lyrics. And then they realized that they had essentially stolen the Pink Floyd's um, song and they had to start over. And they were just so
Oh,
sick of trying to be, yeah, they were not writing lyrics as much as they were remembering them.
okay. Because I thought maybe they were running up against maybe John Updike's legal
Oh,
team.
oh, there you go. That's also
That
also very
yeah.
possible.
It's and it's also possible that we're both just overthinking this a little, but
Possibly. Yeah,
yeah,
that could be
possibly.
too.
I don't know.
That's probably the
Um,
best theory, actually.
but
Anyway, all
fly,
right.
Robin, fly. All
Fly
right,
Robin Fly. Writers and producers,
writers. Yeah,
Sylvester
that's right. They're
LeVay,
writers.
yeah,
So,
Sylvester LeVay and Stephen Prager. Stephen Prager is actually the artist's name of Michael Rolf Kunze,
hmm,
who was a very prominent German musical theater lyricist. And that's why you get these sophisticated lyrics for, you see where that comes from. Anyway, he was also one of the top 1970s record producers.
okay.
And in addition to for Silver Convention, he also produced some stuff for Sister Sledge and Penny
Oh,
McLean, who is a member of Silver Convention, also did some
okay.
stage work. So he's won a Grammy Award. He's won an Echo Lifetime Award. Echo is the German music industry. And he has 79 gold and platinum records. Is that not just nuts?
That's a lot. I mean, it doesn't really matter, even if it's no matter the market size, that's a substantial career.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, um, that's the writers and producers behind this. It was released September 1975 on Jupiter Records, and peaked at number one in November 1975. Uh, it was both preceded and succeeded by That's the Way I Like It, and Casey and the Sunshine Band. So Casey and the Sunshine Band were at number one before this and after this.
I read this, yeah, this non-consecutive business, which is kind of unusual.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think it also shows a little bit about how unusual um, Casey and the Sunshine's band's
Well,
approach to the market was. Um,
uh, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, there's the more I mean, we're obviously lauding Silver Convention here, but the more you think about Casey and the Sunshine Band's rise to prominence, actually, the more impressive it is.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's just really quite an amazing feat. So, yeah, Silver
Anyway, this
Convention.
single was also number one on the Soul Singles chart for a week. Spent 3 weeks at number one on the dance disco chart, and was number one in Canada, the RPM top singles chart. Um, but that was in January of 76, knocking the Bay City Rollers from the top slot with their Saturday Night and being
Oh,
replaced by C.W. McCall's
oh, good Lord, it's Convoy.
Convoy. That's a really eclectic
Oh, that
list,
is just
right?
bonkers. Yeah, it really
Saturday
is.
Night, Fly Robin Fly, Convoy. But those Canadians, they're just kind of nuts. Okay, yeah, shall we listen in? Fly
Let's
Robin
listen
Fly.
in. Little Fly Robin Fly. Um, there we go. This is the bridge. It has these overtones of Barry White's Love Unlimited Orchestra. Um,
Well, clearly, Stefan Prager was doing the heavy lifting on this. The
well, I think
no,
that's
no, I'm sorry.
fair.
So clearly, Sylvester LeVay was doing the heavy lifting on
Yes,
this.
yes.
Stefan Prager didn't have a whole lot of work on this one. Contributed
No, I think
all six words.
that's an astute observation, Dave. I don't think I mean, this is yes.
But you need
It's
the right combination of those words again and again. I mean, you can't just throw them together randomly. So
well,
there is that. I think people underestimate what goes into that.
I think that's well. There we go.
So
Yeah. So
that's
Fly
that's
Rock.
number one in this month.
It's so Fly Robin Fly. And it's disco is here at
Disco is
number
here.
yeah, at number two. It's the kind of in a way it's sort of the last gasp for the Staple Singers. So the Staple Singers with the theme to the film Let's Do It Again. Staple Singers, remarkably influential group. It was, we've talked about the Staple Singers at various points along the way over the past few years. Arguably one of the most, one of the most influential groups of the '70s. They had a total of 8 top 40 hits on the pop side and 2 number 1s. This Let's Do It Again will peak at number one. They also had a number one with I'll Take You There in 1972, magnificent song.
Yes.
And again, they had monster influence on the R&B and soul chart as well, with with three number ones and 10 top, excuse me, 10 top 10 songs. I mean, and so maybe not a great surprise that they ended up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with the writer of "Let's Do It Again," and that's one Curtis Mayfield, who wrote and produced this. Um, this is the theme to the film that was the attempt to make Jimmy Walker a movie star. So this is Walker had starred for a couple of years at this point in the Norman Lear sitcom Good Times,
Had taken it
and had
over.
basically taken it over. I think in the minds of Esther Roll and John Amos, hijacked it, and was a remarkably um, popular figure on American television. The jump to feature films is a big one and was not particularly successful. So this is a kind of lighthearted boxing gangster caper featuring, as you can see here in the image, Bill Cosby as well, along with Sidney Poitier, who
Sidney
also
Poitier,
directed it.
probably his proudest hour, I would guess.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure his proudest hour. It also interestingly featured John Amos in a small supporting role.
Huh.
Mr. Amos must have been just thrilled.
Oh, I bet he was.
I can't quite imagine why Amos actually signed up for this. Must have been a good paycheck. The film was not a hit, and it's not really well regarded. And this more or less ended the Jimmy Walker's attempt to become a kind of feature film star. And interestingly, he Good Times would run a couple of more years, and then Walker would a bit fade a bit from view. I think it's fair to say, and if it's the mid 1970s, Jimmy Walker and his dynamite is, it's the catchphrase, one of the catchphrases of the decade. Um, he's not able to sustain it. It's not able to sustain it. The highlight here is clearly the Staple Singers, who it is a fairly, by Staple Singer standards, a fairly randy number. And so let's listen to a little bit of it here because it's a little unusual, at least in terms of the lyrics. So let's do it again. The Staple Singers featuring Mavis Staples on lead vocal.
Oh man.
All right.
Fuck.
Okay.
I Yeah, well it says recording in progress, so I guess it's still going. We'll see.
Okay.
But
All right.
it's
So
recording,
let
so let's go
okay.
with it.
All right. So let's continue on. So it's the Staple Singers with "Let's Do It Again."
Let's do it again. We do it again. Do it. Do it. Let's do it again. Sometimes rain, grooving when I hear the sound, like you and me, baby, getting down with the sounds around. Oh, the smell of the morning flower as we pass away the hours. I wanna do it again, do it again, do it.
There we go. So it's I think we get the point. I think it would be fair to say that's a languid pace in terms of the song, but it's a massive hit. This is one of those things I don't think that it holds up over time. Unlike some of the other great hits from the Staple Singers, but maybe that's nitpicking. So at number two, it's "Let's Do It Again" from the Staple Singers, theme to the movie of the same name. So the next song on the at number three is a highly produced number, but it's kind of awesome. So it's Jigsaw's "Sky High."
Man. Yeah. Uh this Jigsaw a one-hit wonder, right? But they had a really interesting history, and it seems kind of a shame that they didn't do more. All right. In 1970, their debut studio album, Leather Slade Farm, was named after a hideout used by the perpetrators of the Great Train Robbery. And it was a concept album that served as a satire of the music industry and loosely tells the tale of a broken down pop singer. Various interview interludes scattered throughout the program. It sounds really fascinating. Um, and the single chosen from that album was Clive Scott, the keyboardist's arrangement of Bach's Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring. It didn't chart. Neither the
It didn't
album,
chart.
no, neither the album nor the Bach. Then they went on, did another album. Then, well, Scott and Dyer, who are the songwriters, wrote this song as well. That's Clive Scott and Des Dyer. Um, they were the songwriters of the group, and they wrote a song, "Who Do You Think You Are?" That was then recorded by the UK band Candlewick Green, 1974, and then covered by Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods.
But that's right, which was the Bo Donald, that was their second top 10.
And so um, that became a hit for other groups.
Yes.
When they did a version of that song on their 1974 album, I've seen the film, I've read the book, um, it failed to perform. And in fact, after the single and the album just went nowhere, they were dropped by their recording label, BASF. So, so they're
So,
left without a label. And
yeah, this is not sounding great, by the way.
right,
All uphill.
so all uphill. So Dyer and Scott get together with their manager and the producer, Chaz Pete, and they founded their own label, Splash Records. And the first single at the new label was for the film The Man from Hong Kong. It was written for this soundtrack,
Hmm.
which was a martial arts action film starring George Lazenby.
Oh, yeah, the
Um,
great George Lazenby, right?
Great George Lazenby
He had a run at the James Bond,
at the 007. Yes,
which many people consider really quite a good film.
I thought I liked his 007.
Yes, I think that's yeah. There's yeah, almost yes, right.
Anyway, so this they didn't even have an album for this. This was just a single, and
Yikes!
it
This is sounding grimmer and grimmer.
it grew from a modest success on Radio Luxembourg to a
Yep.
national success in the UK. Made the UK top 40, top 10 in November 75. Just as it made um, number three in the Billboard Hot 100. It's it's kind of got this ongoing life. It comes and goes. It's released as maxi single, remixed. Um, it's been popular in Mexico because of the song's affiliation with Mil Mascaras, who is a popular luchador enmascarado.
Oh, this is now I think we're talking wrestling now, I think.
Yes, yes, the masked wrestler. He used this as the song for his entrances. So
Oh, that's kind of cool.
it actually charted twice in Mexico because of this guy.
I'll be darned. Yeah.
Anyway, Jigsaw was known for raucous live shows. They set drum sets on fire, explosions, fire eating, and the occasional property damage. So it seems like a real shame that this group was just this one hit wonder because it seems like they could have provided a lot of entertainment.
Oh, well, it
Anyway,
sounds like it.
shall we listen in?
Let's do. So this is a little of Jigsaw and Sky High.
Blown round by the wind, thrown down in a spin. I gave you love. I thought that we had made it to the top. I gave you all I have to give. Why did it have to stop? You've blown it all sky high by telling me a lie without a reason why. You've blown it all sky
Yeah.
high.
It's heavily produced, but there is and there's a cinematic quality to it. There's a certain kind of inherent sort of drama that's built up in it. It's actually really quite a clever song.
Lends itself to a soundtrack. Um, I really liked it. I remember being
Oh yeah.
quite fond of it back in the day.
Oh yeah. So, but I mean, for all practical purposes, that this is the beginning and the end of Jigsaw, right? This is
Well, although
the
they're still out there. I mean, they still
oh, good grief.
perform well, and that's essentially the one member who's still alive and kicking, which is I think Clive Scott. I think Dyer, or it's the other way around. Scott died, and then but Dyer still got the group name anyway, and there's no
Yeah.
indication that they ever retired in that sense.
Well,
Strange but true.
more power to them. So at number three, it's Sky High from Jigsaw. At number four, we've already talked about them a little bit today, but this is Casey and the Sunshines. That's the way. I like it. A massive hit from Casey and the gang. At number five, then, I think it's. I don't think this is a teeny bop song. I think this is a power pop gem. It is the Bay City Rollers,
Oh man.
Saturday Night.
Oh yeah. Hell. Um, I think my favorite song of theirs. It's from their debut album, Rollin', and that debuted on top of the UK album charts and spent a combined total of 58 weeks on that chart. The writers were Bill Martin and Phil Coulter, who were a songwriting team for quite a while. They met in 1965 and were a team for more than 10 years. Martin writing the lyrics, Coulter for the melody, and they had records with acts like Los Bravos, Dave D and Co., The Trogs, uh, Cilla Black, Cliff Richard, Bill Connolly, and Elvis Presley, in addition to the Bay City Rollers.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley. Between 1967 and 76, they had four number one hits and numerous top 10
Wow.
hits in the UK. In fact, Martin is the only Scottish songwriter to pen four UK number one hits for four different acts. Then there were also three number one hits for the U.S. in the U.S., um, which was this would become a number one hit before they were done. And there was also "Thanks," performed by Bill Anderson, which became number one hit for the hot country songs.
I was gonna
And
say Bill Anderson, yeah, one of the legendary country performer.
and "My Boy," sung by Elvis Presley for the adult contemporary chart.
Oh, wow.
So these are the guys that are
That's
writing and producing for the Bay City Rollers.
that's actually quite a range. Um,
Yes,
that's really quite impressive in its own way.
fairly
That's really
eclectic.
something. Oh yeah, for sure.
In 1975, they were joint recipients of the Ivor Novella Award for Songwriter
Mm-mm.
of the Year.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the
Wow.
song. Released August 1975 on Arista. It was originally released in June 1973 in the UK, where it did not chart. So it was re-recorded with new vocals, um, and it was given a North American release in August 1975. August. That's how long it's taken it to get to the top of the charts. But
So it's I guess it's a kind of a slow burn.
yeah,
It did set off a kind of Bay City Roller mania, but kind of. I mean,
well,
it was a
it's
thing, wasn't it?
yeah. Well, back in the 70s, everybody was looking for the new Beatles, right? And so, like, every
Yeah,
other
I think that's
hot new
I,
group that came out was like, oh, these are biggest group since the Beatles. Um, so this was one of the things that they were dealing with is that they were uh,
is it
seen as maybe the heirs apparent.
do, do you know I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm curious about this. Their name um they how they picked up their name?
The Bay City Rollers. I actually heard that story once. I don't remember.
My understanding is that they wanted to kind of Americanize their name, and so they literally somebody closed their eyes and stuck a pin in a map on Bay City, Michigan. And so this
Oh,
is the story as I recall it, and hence the name Bay City Rollers. But they had a kind of distinctive look too, right? They had the tartan and the kind of the capri pants. I don't know how to
oh
describe
God,
them exactly.
just awful. I hated that look.
But mention the way that the Beatles in their first incarnation had the matching suits and
Yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. And there was a generation of people that I guess hated that. I don't know. They looked stupid. They looked well, all right. That's my take. I thought it looked really, really
it
dumb.
it was distracting because I do think that they had some power pop chops. These albums, this song is just great,
This song is
but
great. And I remember Rock and Roll Love Letter. That's the other one that I can just come up with on the top. But they had hits all through this period.
they had some, yeah, they did.
They sold between 120 and 300 million records worldwide. It makes them one of the best-selling music acts of all time globally.
Hmm.
Huh. Who would have thought
Hmm.
that?
Oh, hmm. Well, certainly not. I wouldn't have.
This, but the group had been around since 1964. The bassist Alan Longmuir, sorry, I can't pronounce the Scottish, and his brother Derek on drums started off with the Ambassadors, um, and it's basically taken them 10 years to find their footing. But
It
then,
also speaks to, yeah. Well, then they
wow,
really took off. But they did not, while they appealed to the teeny bopper set, they certainly
oh,
didn't.
we've
They
talked about
were,
Tiger Beat. They're going to
yeah,
dominate Tiger Beat covers for the next couple of years.
but they're so much older than this Tiger Beat audience.
Yeah,
It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
yeah, but they're being sold as a boy group,
Oh,
and
100%. Yes, they are.
and there's a point at which that no longer works. So they've got a range of a couple of years here where they're going to be able to do that, and then it just falls apart. You
Yeah,
know,
I think it does. I think they actually had a Saturday morning show
oh, they probably did. Yeah,
on
it
one of
seems
the
like
networks,
yeah,
which
that
is,
sounds about
like
right.
kind of the kiss of death when it comes to this kind of thing. That's definitely when your shelf life is about ready to expire when you appear on Saturday morning television. I think it was on ABC, but nevertheless, some of their songs kind of hold up, and I think this one is terrific.
I do too. And this was their only number one. This went all the way to number one, and it's the only one that they had in the U.S. But clearly, they were doing well all over the world. And by the way, just a little aside here. Um, According to Tommy Ramone, the Hey, ho, let's go chant from Blitzkrieg Bop was inspired by Saturday Night.
Well, what? Is that right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. I can kind of see that. But yes,
I
who
mean,
who who would
I
have
guess I
thought?
can too. Who would have
Well,
thought?
the Ramones and the Bay City Rollers were very similar groups. So it seems, it doesn't seem unlikely that that could happen.
The thing about the Ramones is that they listen to everything. They 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 listen to everything. Joey Ramone in particular. And so I guess, yeah, I mean, sure.
Sure.
Why not?
Shall we listen in?
Let's do. So Bay City Rollers, and it's Saturday night.
To the rock and roll on Saturday night, Saturday night, dancing to the rhythm in our heart and soul on Saturday night, Saturday night. I just can't wait. I got a day at the good old rock and roll show. I gotta go Saturday night, Saturday night. Gonna rock it up, roll it up, do it all, have a ball Saturday night, Saturday night. It's a Saturday night. It's a Saturday night. It's a Saturday
Uh, I'm completely in the tank for this song. I think it's one of the great songs of the 70s. I really do. I just think there's a genius to it. It's
Well, it's
infectious.
infectious. It's just infectious as
It's
hell.
infectious, and it rocks. I mean, those power chords that kick in are it's really something. So, okay, the tartan pants maybe a bridge too far, but
Yeah, we just have to ignore that. And
oh
and
God,
and they
they
had a
really
few
were
songs that
horrible.
made it possible to ignore them. So, yeah.
Well, so there we go. Yeah, so it's the Bay City Rollers in Roller Mania with Saturday Night. At number six, it's the Ohio Players, funky as hell with Love Roller Coaster. It's a massive era for the Ohio Players. The Love Roller Coaster will peak at number one on the pop charts. It'll peak at number one on the R&B and soul chart. Um, the, they can really kind of do no wrong. One of the parts that I think makes a lot of sense from a business aspect for the Ohio Players is that it's a group effort, including songwriting. So the song is essentially credited to the group, which, because we've talked about it at some length in many shows over the years, it is that is one of the most corrosive aspects. The songwriting royalties is what really has just driven many bands into different directions, and bands that are somehow able to overcome that have a tremendous advantage. It is, I guess the one aspect of this song that we address here, and we kind of deflate it quickly, is the legend of the scream. So at midway through the song, about 2.5 minutes in, there is this scream, and supposedly the urban legend was that this was the scream of a woman being killed on a yeah, maybe on a roller coaster, maybe even the
It's
woman who was on maybe even the woman on the cover of the album.
it
Um,
sent shivers down my spine.
Sent shivers down my spine. It was not really poo-pooed by the band because any publicity, I guess, is kind of good publicity. As it turns out, it's a scream from the keyboardist Billy Beck, but nevertheless, it added a certain amount of I don't know, a certain something to the song, and
That
but
was a guy's
it
scream?
it was a guy's scream.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, yeah, that kind of makes you wonder a little bit too, but
Yeah.
it's it's incredibly funky. One of the other aspects of the Ohio Players that I suppose we should note here is that they invested a certain amount of energy in their album covers, which were as salacious and randy and provocative as as they got in this era. And I strongly suspect, in fact, that definitely helped sales, because those album covers really stood out on, if you look at an album rack. Oh, there's the Ohio Players section. It got a lot of attention. Um, but this is peak Ohio Players, and it's a terrific song. So let's listen to a little bit of it here. This is Love Roller Coaster, and it is a massive song on the pop charts, and a massive song on the soul charts as well. Well, there you go. You get a real sense of it here. And as you said, Dave, a minute ago when we started out the show, there's a certain danceability to almost every song that's on this list this month, that you almost have to be able to dance to it in order for a song to be popular in this era.
Yes.
And boy, you could dance to the Ohio Players. I guess you could dance to this next song,
Sure.
at number 7. It's one of our favorites. You're going to talk about it. It's a peculiar number. There's a certain menace to it, but it's awesome. It's the Bee Gees,
Yeah.
Nights on Broadway.
Yeah, this is from their main chorus album, just tour de force.
Yeah, it's peak Bee Gees. Yeah,
It's
totally.
really,
Yeah,
really a great album. Their 13th studio album, or 11th worldwide, and it was released in 1975 by RSO Records. And it was the group's last album to be released by Atlantic Records, with the distribution deal that Robert Stigwood had made with the Atlantic people. But the producer came from Atlantic, R.F. Martin, and the
the legendary. Yeah,
Bee Gees give him just so much credit for what the main course became, and they really needed an album at this point that was going to kind of resurrect
I think that's exactly right.
their
Yeah, and resurrects the word. Yeah,
because they had not been doing well, and main course was the album that did it. And there's a whole background of this, how they were going to go down and go down to Miami and live in the house that Eric Clapton had lived
yeah.
in, and
Oh
record
goodness.
at
Yeah,
Criterion Studios,
South Dixie Highway. Yes.
legendary studio in Miami. Um, and all these things came together, and it was just, among other things, and this is strange that we're going to be talking for the second time now about screams. In
Yeah.
we've gotten through most of our years doing this without talking about screams at all. But the
Very
fact
true.
is, Barry Gibb discovered his falsetto because R.F. Martin asked if one of the Bee Gees could do some screaming during the main chorus to make the song more exciting. Blaming it all, just do that as a scream. And so, in response, Barry Gibb began singing higher and higher, and eventually it hit this falsetto that was unexpectedly powerful. He
Now,
had never known that he could sing falsetto,
this
had
is
never
the
tried
part
it.
of the this is the part of the story that seems just so improbable, Dave. I mean, I've read, yeah, I mean that he
They've been
didn't know he
singing
could
together for years.
at this point, like for 25 years, and that he didn't realize he had a falsetto range, that he could do that. And that does, but I mean, that's the story. Yeah.
And you
And
know,
it changes their career. It
it's a
changes the
game
arc of their
changer. It
career.
absolutely is, because he discovers the falsetto at a time when dance music and disco is the thing. So it starts with this album. It starts with this song, but they use it extensively after this,
It
right?
it is part of the repertoire. I mean, from here on out. I
Yeah,
mean, virtually, yes. It's just, yeah, it's part of what it becomes the Bee Gees. It becomes really, in many ways, their most distinctive trait. It,
it's just,
it, it
he
it's
recalled
astounding.
in May 2001 in an interview with Mojo, quote, Arif said to me, "Can you scream?" I said,
This is the
"Under
damnedest thing.
certain circumstances." He said, "Can you scream in tune?" I said, "Well, I'll try." And the rest, as they say, is history.
Do you,
So, wow. Just so all sorts of things came together here, right?
it's really, yeah, it's really astounding. And it does change their career. I mean, they are able to integrate it in a continuous, but they don't overdo it. They, but it's their, yeah, it's just astounding.
They reached the number two spot in the Canadian top singles, but they peaked at number seven on the Billboard Hot 100. And Cashbox called the song hard-hitting R&B effort. The Gibbs brothers rap more incredible harmonies around the rock and roll mind. And
Yeah,
I, I think
it's
we
got
would
an
be
edge to it.
I think we would be remiss in
Oh, yeah, here we
not
go.
mentioning the fact that this is one of the great stalker songs.
It yes,
Here, here am I, in a room full of strangers, standing in the dark where your eyes couldn't see me.
it's
I had to follow you, though you did not want me to. That won't stop my loving you. Wow. Uh, if you listen to these lyrics, they are just kind of, ooh,
it it it's yes. Oh, it's 100% stalker.
it's
It
stalker shit. Yeah.
it 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 speaks to the era, and that it wasn't. I think people understood maybe what's happening, but weren't as taken back by it. I don't
Well,
know,
the fact is
but
that this
you
sort of
couldn't do this today.
obsession, this obsessive love is considered, or at least was, I think it still is considered by certain people to be romantic, you know.
Yeah, I think it is by certain people.
And I think just there's some awareness of the whole stalker mentality has come about since then that gives a number
Oh,
of
I
other
think that's
people
true.
pause.
I think
But
that's true. Yeah.
there
It's
was
kind of it's kind of it is odd to consider that there was a time when this notion of obsession
ooh,
was it didn't really ring alarm bells
no.
like it clearly does today, but it didn't. And and there was a certain kind of power to this song, and there was a kind of rock element to it that I think many people found yeah, I mean found attractive. And the Bee Gees, they found their mojo.
I think this
I
is
mean,
a great
after
song. I
it's
love this
it's
song.
it's Bee Gees Mount Rushmore for me. I don't think that's a question about it.
But it's yeah, but you kind of have to ignore the undertones.
Yes, I think that's fair. Yeah.
So listening.
Let's do Nights on Broadway, the Bee Gees. Here we go.
us on Broadway, singing them sweet sounds to that crazy, crazy town.
Yeah, that's extraordinary. And again, this is the Bee Gees. Um, in a way, it's the Bee Gees rebirth, right? It's the notion
Yeah,
here that they're moving into a different kind of career path, different
yes,
kind of
it's
career
kind of a
trajectory.
second career.
And boy, they're just getting started, right? They're just
Yeah,
getting started with
it's
it.
going to eclipse everything they did before, which was a fantastic career in itself. I mean, the stuff that they've done before is just wonderful.
As we have mentioned before, that there you had so many people who sort of like, oh, the Bee Gees.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
really
what's this cool new group? Oh, there's nothing new about the Bee Gees. The
yeah.
Bee Gees been around forever, but it's a rebirth. And of course, once they hit Saturday Night Fever, then there's really no stopping them. So, really quite a monumental album and a monumental single. All right, we're gonna get back to the charts in just a second, but let's think of a simpler time, Dave, when the United States was thinking about the future, and the future involved the metric system. So, all right, so it's the mid 1970s. What is the metric system to most Americans? How do most Americans sort of react to the notion of a new system of weights and measures and
Well,
distance?
yeah. If you aspire to the greatness of Canada, I suppose you can go with a metric system. But I think we're a little bit further along than that. I mean, we won our independence 200 years ago. Why on earth would we, go back?
So one of the points that you're raising here that's an interesting one is so that we're on the verge of the bicentennial, and so right 1776 1976 the 1975 though December 1975 Congress and passes, and President Ford signs the Metric Conversion Act of the United States, and it was not well received. I
Went
think it's fair
over
to say it's not well
like a
received.
Led Zeppelin.
Like a Led Zeppelin. I remember this as a young person in school that a big part of our training in all sorts of classes, but particularly in science classes, involved then a familiarization with the metric system, right? And so it's the meter, it's the liter, and so on. And you started to see these signs pop up on American highways, putting distances in kilometers. And
Strange that you don't see those signs anymore.
no, yeah, it, this must have, we should have been tipped off on
Uh,
some level, right, about where the American public was with international issues and about sort of maybe sort of global awareness and whatnot by the almost universal hue and cry about the metric system. My Lord, people just hated it.
hated it.
And while the rest of the world, I mean, essentially the rest of the world has, they, they measure things in one system. The United States continues to kind of go its own way. I mean, I guess the metric system has filtered into American life in the context of like 2 liter pop bottles and things like that, but not very many, right? Not very many ways has. I mean, it just died a death. It just died a death. All right, one other thing. So, the political issue of the day in the United States in the 21st century is affordability. And so I wanted to give you then Mad Magazine's look at affordability circa 1975. And so this is the cover of Mad in December of 75, and it might as well be the cover of Mad Magazine today. So affordability, my friends, affordability. So Mad has lowered its price to, I mean, okay, it's not the most powerful joke, but you get the point. 50 cents cheap. Mad always had its finger on the pulse, I suppose, on some level. And there we go. All right, so let's back to the charts. So Diana Ross, she's a Supreme. Um, Then she's a solo star of sorts, but a recording star, maybe just a recording star. So what about
Well,
Diana
she
Ross's dream? What about Ross's bigger dreams?
the bigger dreams. Yeah, well, fed by
Fed by one Barry Gordy.
Barry
Um,
Gordy. Yeah,
it's it
let's move
is
to Hollywood.
yeah, and so this is okay. So this is part of a bigger transition. But Barry Gordy, of course, founder of Motown Tamala, um, Hitsville, USA, Detroit, Michigan. Diana Ross was actually a kid in the neighborhood who he knew down the street. Um,
Yeah, kid
eh,
with a capital K.
yeah, kid with a capital K. It's there. Okay, yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. But over time, um, Barry Gordy makes his way into Diana Ross's heart. They become a couple. Um, would Motown have moved to L.A. had Ross and Gordy not become a couple? Maybe, but it certainly helped to sort of pull all this together. So it is the case that in 1975, Barry Gordy throws everything in Motown behind everything, and essentially nearly kind of mortgages the corporation to make Diana Ross a film star with the film Mahogany. Now, remarkably, Gordy puts himself in the position of director. Um, so, Gordy has no lack of confidence, and it is not a particularly effective film. We'll just be kind. It's a kind of disaster. Ross stars as a struggling fashion designer, a kind of kid, on the way up, who wants to become it in Europe. And it has, of course, the smoldering Billy D. Williams as a kind of love interest. There's a lot there to sort of feast of the eyes, but the film itself is very very poor, and it kind of bombs. But the remarkable thing about it is that the soundtrack is actually quite effective, and and modestly popular. And so at number 8 is the theme to Mahogany, which will peak at number 1 on both the pop and the adult contemporary charts. And it is a massive hit for Diana Ross. It's a massive hit. And I think it's such a big song. It's one of the big songs of this year and into next year, the 76th, that it kind of masks the close to disastrous after effects of the film. It kind of salves it in a way. Um,
Although, to be clear, she also had a noted critical success in her film Lady Sings the Blues. Right.
Fairpoint, a couple of years earlier, a Fairpoint, which was clearly her high watermark as an actress.
Yeah.
And it's this is and essentially Mahogany's a vanity project, as I guess on some degree, Lady Sing the Blues was as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But this is just not the film doesn't work. But the soundtrack and the theme is quite lovely. And so this is a film, or excuse me, a song penned by Jerry Goffin and Michael Masser. Jerry Goffin hardly needs any introduction, a longtime partner of Carole King, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Jerry Goffin, up on the road, it's just on and on it goes. But Masser had his hand in tons of songs. Touch Me in the Morning, Diana Ross hit. Saving All My Love for You, Whitney Houston hit, and on and on and on it goes. He's one of the most accomplished songwriters of the late 20th century.
Huh.
And I think you can make an argument that he is, well, he's certainly one of the most successful of all time. Although his name, I don't think is really a household name. So he's a co-writer on many massive hits. Michael Masser again. All right, so this is theme to Mahogany. Mahogany. Do you know where you're going to? And it's a charming number, and it is the best thing probably about the movie Mahogany. it's a gorgeous song.
I
And
think
of course,
that's
lights.
the last really good song that she had. For
Oh,
my
I would push back on that considerably from her 1980 album, Diana. I'm Coming Up, um, which
yeah,
is masterful. But is this a fine song? Oh, it definitely is. Sorry, didn't mean to jump all over you there, but yeah, it's terrific, and you
yeah.
know she is one of the great vocalists of the late 20th century. There's just no question about it. And her film career kind of stalls after this. I think that's fair to say. But there you go. At number 8, Theme to Mahogany.
Well, there was her masterful portrayal of Dorothy just
Well, The
a
Wiz
couple of years
is
later.
The Wiz. Okay, yeah, yeah. All right, The Wiz is not the Wiz is not terrible. How about that? It's actually okay. The reappraisal is probably needed for The Wiz. Anything with Nipsey Russell, it's got
Oh,
me.
yes. You know.
There we go. At number 9, you know, the Simon and Garfunkel's story seemed to have already run its course by the time we get to the mid 1970s.
Yes.
Garfunkel went on his path to a kind of film career, um, some highs and some lows,
Well,
as well as a kind of,
I think Art Garfunkel could have pretty much envied Diana Ross's career.
oh, that's harsh. Is that right? You think so? Okay.
He had a couple critically acclaimed roles, but nothing. He never became a star.
Never became a star. And yeah, and you have to wonder, well, he never became a star. He continued to record. He had some modest hits over the course of the 70s. Whereas Paul Simon, well, his career just, you know, it just exploded. And Simon really became, in many ways, one of the dominant figures of the 1970s as a solo performer. Just magnificent. Huge singles, critically acclaimed albums, pushing the boundaries in all sorts of interesting areas. I mean, what's not to appreciate about Paul Simon? But in this era, Simon pens a song that he thinks this is a song that needs or could use Artie. And so amazingly, My Little Town, he reaches out to Garfunkel, and Garfunkel, amazingly, agrees to record it. It is their next to last single as a duo, and it's their last single as using original material. And it peaks, My Little Town peaks at number 9 on the pop charts, and of course hits number 1 on the adult contemporary charts. A couple things about this. It's some of the tracks are laid down in part by the Swampers,
Oh,
musicians that we've talked about and who have great affection for. Barry Beckett on piano, David Hood on bass, and of course Roger Hawkins on drums. So one of the
not the
curious
first time
things.
he's worked with those folks.
No, that's right. No, and so he knows talent when he hears it. One of the keys to their okay, so is this a Simon and Garfunkel reunion? The answer is clearly no. So on the single itself, you have well, they use different B sides. So uh, for for um, for Simon, his B side to My Little Town is Your Kind, and Garfunkel uses Ragdoll as his B side, and so they can't even agree on the B side. They will perform on Saturday Night Live in October of '75. They sing this song. It's one of their last performances on American television together, and it is. I got to tell you, I think it's magnificent, and there is something so evocative about it that I think it's one of Simon's great achievements as a songwriter, and I think it's one of their best songs ever as a duo, even though it comes really at the when the career together has come to it's really, you know, they crashed on the rocks. There's still something about this that is just
Oh, it's a great song. Yeah, it
it's
really is.
extraordinary. All
Yeah.
right, so not that you need us to sort of fall in love with My Little Town, but here it is. Maybe Simon and Garfunkel at their best.
In my
little town, I grew up believing God keeps his eye on us all. And he used to lean upon me as I pledged allegiance to the wall. Lord, I recall my little town, coming home after school, flying my bike past the gates of the factories. My mom doing the laundry, hanging out shirts in the dirty breeze.
Oh, could listen to that all day. It's extraordinary. I mean, no one writes like Paul Simon. And the melding of their voices, I mean, it's there's a magic to it.
It was all
Arguably,
beautiful.
from my perspective, I think it's their greatest achievement as a duo. I know this is not a commonly held belief, but I think that they were never finer.
Stiff competition there. Very stiff.
Stiff competition, but there's nothing in my mind that beats My Little Town. Well, there are a few things that beat this next song either, and so I know that you have a soft spot for Sweet, but I mean, come on, it's Fox on the Run at number 10.
Oh yeah, baby. This was from their Desolation Boulevard album, only their third studio album, which is a bit surprising if you take a look at all the singles that they've been kicking out over the last couple of years. And this was one of the first that they wrote as a group together. So
Yeah.
the writers were sweet. It's Brian Connolly, the lead vocalist, the bassist Steve Priest, guitarist Andy Scott, and drummer Mick Tucker. Some of those names will be familiar to anyone who remembers Ballroom Blitz.
Oh,
Ready,
yeah,
Steve? Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
They name check, yeah, as they get started. Yeah.
Sweet was also listed as the producer for the song, although Mike Chapman, along with Nicky Chin,
Yeah.
were the producers of Desolation Boulevard.
There we go. Yeah.
It was released March 7th, 1975 on RCA in Europe and Capitol in the US. Peaked at number 5 at the Hot 100, sorry. Became the best charting single in Australia in 1975. 6 weeks at number 1 in Australia. Reached number 2 on the OCC chart, which returned to the group to the UK top 10 after the failure of their previous single, Turn It Down, which didn't even make it the top 40. So, Bump called the song, quote, a definitive hard rock bubblegum record. One of the last glitter classics. Let's listen in.
Let's do it. Here we go. It's the Sweet. And for my money, the first 20 seconds of it, some of the best 20 seconds from the 1970s. Here we go.
Okay.
That is so good. That is so good.
Yeah.
And Mick Tucker is such a great drummer. He just has a couple of fills there that just make it's just unbelievable. So the suite with
The Sweet,
I
maybe the most unappreciated band from the 70s. They just
that
don't get the credit they
could be.
deserve. They just don't
No,
get the credit they
I know
deserve.
that you have a huge soft spot for Sweet.
Yeah.
Boy, this magnificent. Fox on the Run at number 10. Remind me again, where does that peak in the US, Dave?
I think that's number one.
Does it get to the top of the charts? Yeah, I didn't mean to sandbag you
Uh,
here, but I
no,
couldn't
sorry, peaked at
remember.
number five. Peaked
Peaked
at
at
number five.
five. Well, but it's number one in our hearts. That's
Yes,
for sure.
there you go.
So from the sublime to the ridiculous. So it's so as you said a little while ago, right when we got started, disco is infused this chart like maybe none we've seen so far. Boy, ain't that the truth. So at number 35, it's the crooner's crooner Al Martino with his version of Volare. So Volare, to fly in Italian, penned in the late 50s by Domenico Madongo, was
Covered by
a
dozens.
covered by dozens. You know, it's one of those songs that had a number of lives over time. He was actually a Eurovision entry in the late 50s, and on this goes. Recorded by dozens, as you note. It's recorded by Martino in this era. Al Martino was born Jaspersini, was a pop star in the 1950s. He was the king of one of the kings of the charts of the 1950s. Actually peaked at number one in 52 with "Here in My Heart," and he spent a career in casinos and clubs across the United States. He was a hardworking and well appreciated vocalist who also had interesting ties, allegedly, to the underworld. So, for some, Al Martino may not be a familiar name, but a character he played in a movie, Johnny Fontaine, might ring a bell or two. So, Al Martino is Johnny Fontaine in The Godfather and also in Godfather 3. Now, Fontaine was not necessarily Coppola's first choice for the character, and Coppola worked hard to have him removed
Until
until
he found the head in his bed, and then he understood.
apparently, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was that extreme, but apparently there was pressure from from some fellas,
That's so
and
wild. It's just life
Martino was
imitating
in fact
art. The
absolutely.
Godfather. It's a scene from The Godfather. For God's
It,
sake.
it is absolutely the case. Now, you know, there will be some people who will push back on this, but the lore is there, and there is some substance to it. It appears, and so it's really quite a remarkable set of stories. So again, Martino appears in both Godfather 1 and Godfather 3. The song, what's interesting about the song is that it reflects the discoization of American popular music. And so, I mean, there's just kind of no getting around it. And so let's listen to this. This song will peak at number 33 in the charts. And it will be, I mean, it would be really Martino's last sort of pop hit. But it's, okay, it's something in its own way. So here we go. It is Volare from Al Martino with just a little touch of the disco.
Volavo felice
And so if you were wondering, right, if you were wondering where the theme to the Love Boat came from, well, imitation is indeed the sincerest form of flattery. And so there we have it. It's mid-December 1975. So Dave, why don't you take us home?
Sure thing. If you enjoyed this video, we hope you did, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you can do that right here. You can watch another 50 years ago this month right up here. And as always, you'll want to be sure to check out the playlists for this month because it has all that great music on it. You can do that right here.
Yeah, you can take in the full version of Volare. What more could you ever ask for? Keep in mind that we also try to each month, right? We include a reading list to get a little insight into sources that we draw from, and you can learn a little bit more about producers and artists and the like. And keep in mind that we are on BlueSky every day, posting new content, BlueSky, where the action is. So I guess until next time, we'll see you soon.
So long.